Welcome back, Shedheads. Ha! I hope you enjoyed the last episode and the first half of this whole interview with Foot Clan Dan, because strap yourselves in, it's time for round 2. The return of Foot Clan Dan. That's right, part 2 here on the Shedtime podcast. Let's get into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Shedtime. What is Shedtime, you ask? Well, it's code for the consumption of cannabis, but it's much more than that. Shedtime's a state of mind. It's art, it's music, it's cryptocurrency, technology, it's food, it's vaping. It can be whatever you want it to be, as long as you're not letting the bastards get you down, not being a dick, and making it fun. When you're in the shed, it's whatever your mind allows you to create. So now let's get to the Shedtime podcast.
Did you see that koi fish I did?
I
Sean?
didn't.
No.
So, Pickle's client is like a rich dude that meditates to his koi fish, apparently. And he's always on the road. So she wanted, like, you know those orbs that I make? The balls? She wanted, like, a orb with koi. So I freaking.
Is it on your Instagram?
On my Chasing Resin page.
All right, I'm gonna pull it up so we can share.
Yeah, if you
on
can
the
pull it up
screen.
and
Share
the
it
page,
for
that'd
our
be dope.
fucking patrons, please. I gotta see this.
But I'm really stoked on it because like now that I know that worked, I can do fucking like Star Wars ones, like literally limited to the imagination. If you could find me like a miniature or whatever you want, like I could make little like
I want fucking like dab tools with fish in
no,
them.
I'm not Facebook. I'm
You
not
know?
Facebook
Oh, it's on the
page.
Facebook.
Like, let's
In the
go.
group, yeah.
Dude, that'd be hard though, wouldn't it?
Right? I would fucking only use that dab tool if it had fish in it. It'd be like, okay,
Yeah,
let's
that
go.
or like if you guys gave me like the Shedtime podcast logo, I could have that cut out on a CNC or a laser. Just go to I think it's somewhere around there. If you search it'll
Oh
come
shit,
up
we'll
soon.
just scroll for a little bit so people can kind of see like what kind of
Okay,
shit
cool.
you got. Dude, look at
That's
that.
Lazy Vapor. You know Seth Catley?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's my block, his work.
Damn, dude.
I didn't know that was going to him when they sent it to me. I was like, what? Those are little fuck yous I make people. You could, like 20, 30 bucks.
Dude, I love that.
Little skulls. Those skulls I have a bunch of those in Las Vegas actually right now. My boy Alec Langle, he makes potatoes, and I give him a bunch of like skulls to just give people.
Those
say
would be
he makes
sick as
potatoes?
bitches.
So those panels, Joe Sturdy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sturdy panels, but he's a good friend out of Malaysia. Those panels I poured right before I became a dad. Like those are
Dude, those
14-month-old
colors,
panels.
bro, they speak to me.
Yeah, no, that's the vibe.
I don't have a
100%.
dot. I guess I'm gonna have to buy a
Oh.
dot. Yeah, that's the batch. I'm just like, I need another Boromon. Gosh,
So how many blocks would you have sent them to make that batch?
that right there was the entire lot that went to
Oh
Malaysia.
wow.
And then
Dude, those
each
are
one of
some sick
those,
pours.
each one of those is an 8-inch by 8-inch by like quarter-inch, let's say. I don't know how many sets you got out of each. Oh, dude,
hey.
that's my canna. I made, dude. That's my strongest batch I've ever made. That's 400. It's almost like that's a shitload of like keef and grinds. I'm actually gonna pay the $150 to get it R&D and tested. But if you guys are into coconut oil for cooking or topical use, actually, it's
Dude.
really good for strength. It's got to be coming up soon.
Dude, that fucking black though, bro.
Yeah, it has like glitter and like cool ass sparkles.
You're finished.
Yeah, the orbs are freaking really dope. That's the same mold. So like I'm going after like the kind of like
It's
a
like a
glass
mushroom
orb like
cloud
that.
almost.
How
like-
much would that be like for a glass, Sean? Like $100 minimum.
Yeah,
probably, for like a little
120, 150,
100
depends on
and
how
up,
big,
essentially.
yeah.
So like I can give you like pretty much the same quality. I'm learning too, but I can give you the colors and textures and glow at a fraction of the price of
Well, and
glass.
that's like you put a little light base underneath that. That's gonna be super sick.
Right.
And then I have another mold that's slightly larger than that. That's the perfect size for a shifter, for a shift knob. And I have some crushed carbon fiber
Hey,
coming
look at
in
this
to
shit.
make a forged carbon shifter. Yes, all of that's in Las Vegas right now.
Those are
I'm into
dope.
I was born in '84. Ninja Turtles, Glow in the
Fuck
Dark,
yeah, dude.
Street Fighter 2 was my
Yeah,
world.
bro.
Let's see.
What the
Let's
hell
see if we
is
can
this? Oh,
find
wait,
this thing.
I didn't
I know,
realize
like
how many different posts.
we're dedicated now.
We're gonna find it. I'm gonna scroll a little fast, but oh damn, look at that
Yeah,
shit.
that's his
Some real
bro right
stab wood
here.
action.
Yeah, I'm just venturing into stab. Okay.
So how
Yeah,
long? How
I've
much
definitely
longer
seen
till
some
we
like
got
cool
charcuterie
mods.
boards and shit from you?
Bro,
Tabletops.
soon. I told one of my good customers asked. Oh, salsa too. There it is. There it is.
Oh shit,
Click on the
bro.
click on the spinning one, please.
Dude.
So there's your quarter for reference. So I have smaller
Dude,
than a quarter all the way up to like I think it's like a 60 centimeter orb.
dude, that's crazy.
I'm in love with it. That is stellar, bro.
Thank you. So that's with some record exec that Pickle commissioned that for some dude for a Christmas present, and I haven't
Y-
actually heard back, but I'm pretty stoked on it.
You did
It
a
looks dope,
fantastic
dude.
job, in
So
my
I painted
opinion,
him.
man.
She sent me a picture of like a few of his favorite fish, and we were gonna go with 3 or 5 depending on like chakras or something. And I tried to match his. You know koi fish how they have the markings.
Yep.
Like I know him pretty well, and I tried to match him as best I could, and I'm hoping he likes it. But
I mean, they look legit. Like there's no questioning that those are koi specifically. Like those are certainly koi.
so you
Uh,
could think like whatever the airplanes in Star Wars are called, or like like the
like little TIE fighters and X-wings
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
shit.
Like I know I've seen people do it before, but my idea would be like with these burl pieces, I want to have some TIE fighters around these burls, and I think it would come out pretty sick. I think.
Oh
Dude,
yeah,
I could
dude.
just watch that thing spin for
Yeah,
like
like
hours. Honestly, like
that's that
I was just
that's
staring at
that
it.
burl. So like imagine like some miniature stormtroopers or like some TIE fighters or whatever, or like the ball.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm
dude.
just or like the other one I've been looking for. I whenever they'd ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I'd put scuba diver because I love fish tanks and stuff. Like I want to get like a little mini scuba dude to make
Yeah,
a
bro.
underwater suit.
You
Because
know, a
like
couple like fish or
pearl
an
up close
octopus or
looks like
something.
exactly. So I'm trying to like
Yeah.
Dude,
branch
that'd be
out.
crazy though.
This year I want to do like diorama, kind of artsy, do different shit. Try to like explore my creativity. My one
Like
of my good homegirls, Christina, does all my laser engraving and stuff. She does this challenge where she does something new every day, and it's motivating me to try to like expand my mind and do different shit.
I see I follow some of these other resin artists too out here, and like some of the like beach stuff that people do, unbelievable. Like, layering the waves by blowing, the layer after layer of white, and it's amazing.
For
That's why I'm like,
sure.
how long until you're just making like straight up tabletops?
I've done a couple tables now. I don't have any posted in my group because one was a what do you call it? Where you can't sign a. I had to sign a thing where I couldn't
Oh, an
post
An
pictures.
NDA.
NDA?
But this is one of my. The lighting sucks in here, but this is one of my favorites. I need to get pictures and post this off, but you can do anything with the resin and canvases. The lighting sucks so much.
That's just pretty
But
crazy though, dude.
No, it looks cool. Like it looks like it would be cool and like standing in that room.
yeah, like this one. This one is like one of my first paintings I ever did. It's just like a artsy type vibe, and that I actually did into a tabletop for my wife. Got a cheap table at the flea market.
Dude, it looks like
You know?
lapis lazuli.
Yeah, straight up. So like, if you what she was saying is, I guess a lot of Rosses sell the same stuff, and they have tables like that. So like, if you found a table like that at Ross and mailed me the tabletop, I could do it up, and then you send it back to you and screw it down. You got a badass table for like, I've seen those on Etsy for 500-600 bucks. I could do it for probably like a couple $100. So like,
It,
I don't
it
know. I'm trying to do different stuff.
it's crazy. Like I see some of the work people are doing out there, and it really makes you appreciate just how endless the possibilities really can be.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, the market, the competition is fierce. There's like more resin artists than there have been in a long time. And my supplier, I use strictly Alumilite resin, and my supplier gets the Alumilite into North America. And he was like trying to like get my spirits lifted a few months back, and he showed me his list for 2022. And out of like 3,800 resin artists, I was 47th top, 47th number to the top. And I'm like, he's showing me the people, my competitors. I'm just like, these guys have 100,000 square foot, warehouses and like multiple employees. I'm like, all right, I don't, made me feel pretty fucking proud. I'm like, hell yeah. And
Yeah,
to
dude.
know that like, I'd say a good solid 80% of my work goes to like mods. So like, that's pretty dope too. Like one day I want to have like a world picture of every single mod that's out there. So pretty
Oh,
stoked
dude,
on
if
it.
you had like a map and you just had like
I'm
a
working,
thumbtack and like every
dude. I
spot.
haven't for like, I started it with modders, and then now I'm doing it because like people will hit me up on Facebook Messenger like, hey, I'm in Indonesia. This is your block, right? I'm like, hell yeah, nice to meet you. Like, send me pictures. I'll like invite them to Chasing Resin, and I just started at a 4 foot by 4 foot, and I want to be at like Chris is up here, James is over here. Like, I think it'd be cool to show my kid. Dad's got work all over. So
Yeah, no, like you made an impact worldwide.
yeah, I'd like to think
Yeah.
so. These ones, have you guys seen the ground cloud drops?
Those are sick,
Oh.
dude.
Pretty sick, little dainty little Boro mods. I'm really happy with these ones. The Air RBA in this one is his product too. Ground cloud. There used to be like a high end squonk company back in the day.
Yeah,
But
I remember the Squonk mods for sure.
I think the cloak was one of them.
I really like the form factor of how small that is, though, in the hand.
I'll check this out. For the Coil Master, I heard he has a visit to America soon.
Who's
Adam
that?
hit me up. Adam hit me up and he said I may be visiting soon. So I was like, "Fuck yes!" So I'm
Oh,
making
I
these
didn't
are.
know that.
He sent me a bunch of. Hopefully I wasn't. Maybe I'm not supposed to say anything, but I'm starting to work on things for him.
Shout out to Adam. That dude has been like one
I
of my
love that man.
fitness gurus now. Like whenever he gets like going with me about like different fitness tips and like techniques and things that he's doing, I'm like, dude, fuck yeah. Now I just want to go a little bit harder.
There's a good 5 to 10, maybe 15 dudes in my life that are like dads that were also like cool dads. And I was like, when I like, he was one of the people I was just like, man, you're fucking rad, and you're a dad. Like, I was a little hesitant before I became a father. I look at him, I'm just like, man, I'll be
Bro,
fine.
I love his kid. His kid is awesome. Like super well behaved, super polite, and adorable. My wife melts every time she sees Adam's kid because it's like, how do you not love a little child with a foreign accent, right? Especially a little Australian child. Like, oh my god! Every time he talks, my wife's heart just immediately melts, and I'm like, okay, control yourself. We're not having children yet. Oh man.
Speak of the devil. I think the wife and the little one are walking up right now.
Oh, dun dun dun. Oh
Oh no,
man,
it's all good.
how are you enjoying being a dad now?
It's badass, dude. It's fucking really dope. Like people say, like instantly your life changes, and it definitely does. But like, um, I don't know. The first time like seeing him when he was sitting up, and like I get up after him, all tired, get ready for it, and just see his eyes like and that smile, just like so genuinely in love with you and happy to see you in the morning, like that really makes it worth it. And it's just like, yeah, it's amazing, dude. It's really rad. Makes me want to hustle, makes me want to grind, and just be a better version of my dad, you know. So
Dude, you gotta love that.
Oh
Who
yeah,
can
dude.
argue with that, man?
Dude, and like you get to be a dad that makes like some pretty cool shit that like you know, your kid will be like, yeah, my dad does this shit and it's pretty cool and it's all over the world. And if you know you said it was a boy?
yes, sir. Yep.
So if he has like a friend over, and he could just be like, yo, it's like, yeah, he said, what is that like over there? It's like, oh, that's just like a map of all the places my dad's work is. And like the kid will probably just be like, instantly get
Yeah.
home and be like, you know, it's like, oh my god, my friend's dad is crazy. He's got like stuff all over the world. He's like so successful.
I mean, look at the art too on the walls, right?
Yeah, dude.
Like from a
I'm trying
from
to
an
get into galleries this year too. Like
like from an art
before
perspective.
COVID,
Yeah, go
like
ahead.
I was really going hard and trying to get into galleries. COVID hit right when I was trying to. This one spot in Venice, like Venice was popping off. It was actually getting gentrified, and I almost got in this gallery, and then shit died. And I'm gonna get, you know, that's this year is all about growth, and I need to get more canvases out there. But yeah,
I mean, like I look at those and like they from an artistic standpoint, they speak to a certain piece of you, right? Like because they are abstract, so you can take from them what you will. And I think that's even what attracts people to the devices getting made from the blocks, right? Is it's like you see in the resin a little bit of what you as an artist are putting in it, but also what you as the viewer interpret it to be. You get to have this like somewhat intangible relationship with the viewer without anybody even technically realizing it.
I think on James's panels there's a plague doctor. I'm pretty sure I've circled it and pointed it out to him before, but I see different shit in all the panels. It's really weird. But
A,
yeah,
a plague
especially
doctor,
freaking
dude.
with the mask and the face.
Yeah.
If it's either his panel, it's one off of that block there. There's a plague doctor block, or like there's a butterfly block. But actually, one of my good friends, Justin from Vulgar EDC, I made him a block for a Delro. It was a surprise because his brother had just passed away, and I wanted something super special for him. And the dude Ryan in Canada, when he faced the block and cut it and showed me where everything was going to be, it's literally a Florida Gators block, orange, blue, and white. But like right where you see when you're taking pictures of it, it looks like there's a dove in it. And it's just like, you know, I'm pouring this block, thinking about his mom, being emotional, and then Ryan shows me a picture of a Delro with a dove on it. Come on, you can't you
Yeah,
can't
dude.
really.
That gives you chills just thinking about it, right? And it's the
That's
Florida Gators. The only reason I love the Florida Gators because who doesn't love a good Gator chomp?
that's it. Whenever I
Dude,
send
it's
them to
better than
get.
the Atlanta Braves, that's for sure.
Man, every time I think about Florida Gators and the Gator chomp, I'm reminded of the episode of Tanked on Animal Planet when those guys do a giant fish tank for Titus O'Neil of the WWE. And I guess Titus O'Neil's a Florida Gators alum, and he's so proud of it that he wanted a Florida Gators uh, tank. And of course, Titus O'Neil, this dude is like 7 foot tall or some shit. Like he's a professional wrestler. Dude is stacked. So when this dude does the Gator chomp, like it echoes. And like it's terrifying. It's like genuinely like intimidating to watch this man do the Gator chomp. So it was fucking awesome. Like the whole time he's fucking with him about like, no, you gotta do the Gator chomp. No, you gotta beat it. Like, love it. So I was immediately like, all right, I'm a Gator fan just for the Gator chomp. I don't ever have to watch any Florida Gator sports. I just the Gator chomp. I'm in it. I'm here for it. Let's go.
I'm a chomp fan.
I'm a fan of the chomp. Love it. Love it. Oh, god damn. Go Gators. as I recall, we did start an episode that way. So yeah,
It
I'm
was
guessing
either here or on the green room, one of the two.
I'm keeping the Gator tradition going, I guess. And shout out to Gator, who's a homie, customer of mine that lives around town, who just goes by the name Gator. He's a Florida
Gator.
Gators fan, but he goes by the name Gator. So shout out to Gator.
Dude, you have no choice. If your name's Gator, you have no choice but to like the Florida Gators.
Yeah, like
Like,
I've never asked him what the origin of Gator as a nickname is. That's what everybody knows him as. Like everybody in town, like everybody's got those people in your town, right? Like in your community that just like everybody knows that person. Well, he's one of those people, and everybody just knows Gator, and he's Gator, and we don't know why he's Gator, or at least I don't know why he's Gator. So one of these days, I might have to ask him because he's an interesting man of mystery now.
Wrestle the Gator.
Yeah, the Gator mystery. Next on A&E. Oh dear God, that's where we're at in this show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm high enough that we're ad-libbing A&E spots. This show's going horribly off the rails. I love it. Jesus. When was the
Was that
last time
said-
you went off the rails?
every day.
Yeah, currently.
Every day at some point I make a questionable decision. That's just my life. So some days I could go off the rails, and other days I might stay on track.
I
It's
mean,
always possible.
as a person who drives, there are times you literally end up off the rails, I guess.
True.
These things are going to happen. Weather, situations.
Tis true.
Oh man. Well, shit, guys. That's a moment to regroup right here.
Right.
Dude, I'm actually just like super high right now.
That's where I'm at.
vibing. I'm like enjoying the conversation.
Definitely.
It's
This
just one
is
of those days where you're like, yep.
Dude, I'm like 8 bags and a dab in, bro. So I'm chilling, you know? Look at my eyes, bro. I can't even see him, can you?
Oh yeah,
I
there.
just wanna ask, when's the last time y'all seen a nugget, let alone I mean just holding up. 2 hours
Dude.
strong. Still going, bro.
It's been a while since I've seen a lot of
Dude.
things, bro, because I haven't opened
I've
this
been
box
loving
of
the old
history
school
next to
shit.
me in a long time, and there's some gems in there.
I've been loving. I'm really looking for one of those old school. I think it was called a simple, like a Pinky Fire Mac. Get really digging the old school Macs and like the little dainty little 350 stuff.
The simple mech was it was just like a 22 millimeter tube mod, 18650.
Bottom Fire.
Yeah, bottom fire.
I think maybe that company made a Pinky Fire or something.
They could have. I think there was one called like the Nemesis. I think it might have been like a Pinky Fire.
Oh,
It
that was a
like
26, I think. 26, 650.
I can't remember actually, but I know that it had like that bottom fire. Like
Dude,
on
I've
the
got this
side.
tiny little guy, bro.
Yeah,
This is
small.
coated by Mr. Palmer's Powders. This is actually a gift from a subscriber. Shout out to Pam. But dude, I have this with the K-Fun light 2019 coated to match. And dude, this is the tiniest little mech, bro. Little bottom fire guy. Fucking just where'd it go?
Put that in your shirt
Yeah,
pocket.
You know what's funny? Actually,
Real.
like the setup that I'm using right now, like it's pretty small. It's like
Dude, is that the little Pico?
Yeah, Pico with that gas mods Cree on top.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm
it's pretty
honestly
sweet.
probably gonna set up an RTA today because I haven't vaped one in a while. And I want to put something with a little bit higher of a resistance on it so I can rock it on more things.
Yeah, dude, there's like a
I was rocking the gear
0.7
the
in
other
here,
day.
and I'm rocking it at 22.5 watts.
See, that's
It's
my thing.
perfect.
I don't know if I want to go single coil or dual coil.
I rocked the gear, and I need to go dual. I want some hot in your face dual action.
And
That's what I like about that Type 2, man. You can put I put Duchess coils to a challenge on the Type 2 at one point. I was like, Can you figure out how to get a 0.2 build that'll fit a Type 2? And he managed to pull it off. And the coils actually vape pretty well. And man, dude, it's like almost a perfect vape in that thing if you're just looking for like that balance of warmth and battery life and like flavor, because like there's so little room inside there once you put those coils in. Like it's tight. It's toy like a Toiga might
I
kind of
think I
tight.
might. I'm either gonna set up the reload 26, maybe the Valkyrie Mini, possibly. So I don't know. I'm into top airflow RTAs, bro.
Top airflow. Oh yeah. What did I have? I really like. Oh, the OBS. What was that one?
The
Engine.
engine,
I had a triple. Yeah, when you purged it, I had 3, right?
probably. I
Pretty
never
sure.
had that one, but I think it was top airflow.
It was top airflow. Yeah, that shit was legit. I think I got 2 people off of smokes with that for sure when I was extracting at the lab in Cal City. This
Dude, I
one
might
dude was
even just
smoking
do the.
cigarettes still, and I got him one of those.
I
That
might
got
even
him one.
just set up the big boy. I might just set up the Valkyrie, the big 30mm jobby, and rock that guy.
Oh, shout out to our friend of the podcast, Pam, and her like monster 38
Oh yeah,
millimeter.
that new Voltrove thing. Thing's crazy.
Like I had a friend years ago when I used to manage the vape shop who lived in the state north of us, New Hampshire. Um, and so sometimes he would travel down to my shop, and it's like a 3 or 4 hour ride. And so he would set up a couple of those. And I think he had like a 30 mil one at the time. But he would come on down and like one fill, 4 hours. He'd be maybe halfway through the tank by the time he got to the shop to hang out. Like,
Dude, that's the one thing that I kind of like about that stubby tank and the that comes with the stubby IO. That thing holds like 10 mils of liquid, bro. I take that thing to work, I fill it up one time, I might have to put some in it on the way home.
yeah,
You know what I
dude.
mean? It's nice.
That's a good amount of liquid. That's like
Yeah,
a
dude.
legit amount of liquid.
That's fire.
I remember I had like
And
this
for a
is like
single
going
coil,
back,
bro,
but
you're not gonna like plow through it as fast as you would like a dual coil. So like 10 mils will last you a pretty decent amount of time.
I had this
You guys,
Kanger Tech one. There was like it was called the knee box, and it was like 8
oh
or
yeah,
9
those are
mils.
dope.
And it
Those were
used to
dope
be able
as
to
fuck.
like use like the Kanger rebuildable. So I just like
That was
build
kind
it.
of
It'd
like
be
the
like
first AIO, right? Kinda.
it was like kinda. It was like in that early era. Yeah, for
Like
sure.
I
I
remember
knew
my
about that
wife
before
had
I
the
knew about
Joytech.
boxes. I'm pretty sure.
Do you guys remember the Joytech AO from way
Yep.
back in like 2016?
Yeah, like that's
Oh,
when
maybe I'm
the
thinking of
knee
that
box
one.
came out. It was like the competition to like the
Yeah,
Joytech whatever.
I might be
because
thinking of that one
my
actually.
wife had
That's
that
a solid
one,
name.
and that thing was kind of cool because one of the smart things they did was they had an adapter in it that gave you a 510 plate. So
Yeah.
rather than rock it as an AO, because you could only use the Joytech coils for it, you could throw this little adapter in and give it a 510 plate, and then you could just rock any sub tank.
Yeah,
And then
so there's like small little mod.
the cool thing that my wife found out about it, which was hysterical, is that game had fucking Flappy Bird on it. Dude, the fucking mod had Flappy Bird. Are you like what? You could just be fucking bored sitting there on a train or whatever. You can't vape. You're like, ah, fuck it. I'm gonna play Flappy Bird on my mod.
Hey, Sean, do you remember Scotcha, North Carolina maker? That ever come around out there? I think it was more of an East Coast thing. The tank
Oh,
is what
that
these are
thing's
called.
huge.
I've
Oh, the
seen it.
Scotch or whatever. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Scotcha, yeah.
yeah. I've seen it, but I've like never personally experienced it.
Oh, bro, this was the ultimate RTA. Like, honestly, excuse me, for like
For like the
clouds
big
and
guys.
flavors. Yeah, I think you could fit like 10 in here, but 10 mils. But yeah, these are the freaking the Narnars of back in the day. When their retail is 250. If you put one up in the group for sale, you will get RRP or more in 30 seconds. Like it still holds its value from like 7 years ago. It's like one of
Dude,
those
that's
things,
the one
but
thing about the high end market on like things that kind of just blows my mind sometimes.
I've got a
man,
VCMT, like an
if
OG
you
one
feel
kicking around somewhere.
you feel the threads on some of the, like, butter threads versus like China threads. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
that
I've got
thing.
like some
I
high
still
end
haven't felt
mods and
threads like
stuff
that.
that, pretty
The
pricey.
Blotto Max is actually super good. I've been using it quite a
Blotto?
bit. Yeah,
Dude,
the Blotto Max though.
I haven't
It's
used
like
a
the
Blotto in a
28.
long time.
Well,
I
you
always
guys know
wanted
that I
to.
didn't really like the original Blotto that much, and like the
Yeah,
Blotto Mini was
I
like
have the.
okay, but this one's actually really good.
I
I
don't
use
know
it
if I
quite a
got
bit.
the second version of the Blotto or not. I know I got the mini.
I always wanted a Kylan, and I never got one of those.
Oh, dude,
The original Kylan
I
or
remember
like
people used to look any
they're
any
like,
Kylan.
dude, they're
the
OP.
I
V2
used
was
to
pretty
like
solid,
check on
dude.
like Vapor DNA, Element Vape. I used to look like every once in a while, and I never could
The
like.
Kylan
I have
I
like
V2
just
the
is
wanted
OG
pretty
to try it
solid.
Kylan, and it's fucking legit.
because
It's
they looked
legit.
cool too. Like like I don't know, and it takes me back to like that era, like But
Oh, it's definitely, it's got a bit of a nostalgia to it, no doubt.
Mm, I remember when those things were huge. Dude, it feels like here's another one of those like throwbacks to last week with the whole time, or a couple weeks ago with the whole time concept, right? Like, it's fucking crazy how long ago that feels. And then to realize that that's what, maybe 5 years old?
right, yeah.
Like, it
My
feels
f-
like decades ago thinking about it.
Not for me,
dude,
bro. It feels like yesterday, dude.
my first brand new billet box, my wife bought me. It was a 2018, and that was the first year they put the script on the front of them. And like I was like looking at it, and someone's like, "Damn, look at that fucking OG one." I'm like, "Man, this thing's brand new." And then I'm like, "Oh shit, it's not brand new anymore." So funny.
Yeah, dude. Like my buddy who was the owner of the vape shop I used to manage, he had one of those like real early billet boxes, and it's like it was crazy to think about. His, I think, was the DNA chip that went to like
Dual
40.
350. Was it a dual 18 350?
No, it was
Or was
it was
it?
just it was a single 18, but I
Okay,
think the
the
DNA chip
V1
in
billet
it.
boxes were 350.
Yeah, I think his might have been a 2 because the chip only went to like 40, 45, I think,
Yeah,
something like
DNA
that.
40 was the first. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, dude, like it was a real early one, and I remember looking at him like, bud, if you're not using this thing, you do realize there are like billet collectors who would go ape shit to get their hands on this still. Like,
The
Yeah,
market's the
probably.
market's gone down a little bit, but it like, dude, a few years ago it was insane. You were getting way over retail. Like now, people will buy. It's kind of weird. They're buying. Well, you'd have to check right now to see if there's any available from the last drop. But when I used to buy them, you had to like F5 Warrior to even
yeah,
get
dude.
one. Or
Like,
in 2018, mine was actually available, but I got a Dover. That's like that brown color. That was my favorite color, but everyone not didn't really like that color. So
yeah, he had the red body with black panels, and like it was just a nice, clean one. But like, it's just the fact that like back then, we're talking like maybe 2018, like there were just that was an age where people were still collecting it. You know what I'm saying? Like there were just people who wanted every era. That community was still very niche. And I was like, dude, like if you're not into it, you should totally get your money out of this. Cause like this dude goes back to you remember was it Jimmy the Juice Man?
I
He
remember that
goes
stuff.
back to Jimmy the Juice Man Facebook groups and like trading e-liquid there. And that's literally what launched his store was being able to get into Jimmy the Juice Man when it first launched and being able to sell so much Jimmy the Juice Man through Facebook groups and shit that he was able to finance a store. Uh, so like I was like, bro, if you're not feeling this billet box anymore, you should totally try to get it on the secondary market. I guarantee you someone will snatch that up. It's wild, man. There are still some really cool mod makers out there. Like, have you guys seen this brand Rock Mods?
No.
I've seen their mechs on the Instagram, and dude, very very nice looking mechs. It really has made me curious about getting one, um, because like, dude, they're dope looking.
Yeah, there's markets in other countries that we have no idea about, you know?
Yeah, like
Like
I can't remember if they're Philippines or what have you, but like, dude, sick,
like
sick
dot
work.
AIOs are huge in like Malaysia, like those areas. They're way bigger than built boxes.
Oh shit!
You know what? I think it is time for another rip of
Say,
something.
look at the function on that pearl.
That was
We're
a
gonna
triple.
kick it old school on this one, and we're gonna go cold start.
Oh,
Cold start banger.
Mm.
What did you say that tastiness that I just got?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We were talking earlier about the whole like
Might actually
getting through the
turn it on
plug,
just real
right?
quick.
So you guys already know we've talked about it plenty on here about how much I love Ganja Berry, and they're a rosin producer that's out of Maine. So in order to get my hands on it, I have to have a friend who is connected, and it turns out I got a great friend who's connected. So they let me know that there was a new drop. They were going to go get some and everything and bring it home. I was like, all right, fire. So I put in an order with them, and let me tell you, the whole scheduling to try to like just meet to to pick up my order is crazy because our work schedule is impossible. Like it has not lined up. And like I placed this order like 2 weeks ago. Like thank God this person is a hash hound and they like truly love and respect it. So like it's staying cold, it's being stored correctly. But yo, I got some mimosa punch and a guava run that these guys did on the way that fully intend to break out my cold start banger when it gets here because
Yeah, I'm gonna have to let
oh
this chill for a second because your boy forgot to finish cleaning the last time I used it.
dude, yeah, that mimosa is a mimosa and purple punch cross. Like that's gonna be a silly one.
sounds tasty.
It goes back to what we were talking about earlier with that, like being able to get those sativa terps that you enjoy, like those tangy terps, without all of the like head blasted craziness because of like the purple punch doing its job to like tame things in its whole profile. Um and so yeah, dude, like it is a beautiful blend. I've had it in the past and it turned out this was like the last run they were doing of it, so I'm kind of glad I'm getting one more shot at it before it's gone. And apparently this new guava one is another experimental one these guys have done. Like they did a straw guava that blew my goddamn mind. So I can't wait to see what the next one is.
I got some garlic cocktails from my boy like a couple weeks ago. It's already gone, but almost every time I cracked it and smelled it, I thought of you boys because you're always loving those GMO,
Dude, garlic
all
terps,
all
bro.
those gas, garlic. It was definitely heavy on the GMO, but it was called garlic cocktail, so I'm assuming it was
I don't know what it is
GMO and
about it,
something
bro,
else.
because like it's definitely funky, and I can understand a lot of people might not like the flavors that you get from it, but it's the high I get out of those
It's heavy.
strains, dude, that
It's
I
very
just
heavy.
very seductive, really just want to melt you into your chair, kick back, and just put something on the fucking TV or like veg out to some music or whatever, you know?
When I
It's
was
heavy scene, baby.
Yeah, dude.
when
I
I was
love it.
extracting, I ran GMO for like 21 days, like three 5-day work cycles, and like I don't know what it was about being around GMO and just being around the fumes, but couldn't smoke it for like a solid year after that. I had like one of these small jars full of diamonds. I like couldn't smoke it for a year, and then I eventually got over it. And like someone gave me some GMO rosin. I was like, oh shit, I have some fucking diamonds. I wish I would have freaking saved some because it's all literally all gone. But like
Yeah.
those are the hydrocarbons that I really do enjoy. Are like the THCA diamonds, like the nice diamonds with the nice clean terp sauce. Like that's what I'll really go for. You know?
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, go all the way. Go
Yeah,
all
I'm
the
not
way.
gonna go do some butter. Like I saw some shatter. I'm just like, that is still a thing. I was like,
Dude,
what?
Yeah,
I don't do
dude.
the shatter
And I was
anymore. I'll do batter every now and then, depending on who I'm getting it from, because there's certain companies that could still produce a pretty solid batter. You know what I mean? So if I'm picking it up from a company that I'm pretty familiar with, like certain ones I know, I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. But most of the time, I'm into like a live resin, diamond, sauce situation, or
Sugar
I've really
crystal.
been in the live rosins lately, dude. The live rosins at a lower temp, dude. I don't know what it is, bro. I like the high. I like the flavors.
That's
Of
it,
course, you're gonna
man.
pay a little bit more, but
You get what you pay for,
I feel
though,
like you get a
all the
nice
way.
fucking all around experience.
That's why I had to take that tolerance break, because like I said, man, I was buying nothing but rosin, and it was like, like if I'm dropping 3-4 grams a week of just nothing but rosins
Dude,
at
you can get some nice sugars too. You know what I mean? Depending on, what they are.
see,
You
that's the
just
thing.
you gotta like look. You
It's
gotta shop. That's why I shop around, man.
I'm at the point, like, I've really learned, at least in my market, I have to shop the cultivator. It's that
Yeah,
to me is key, because I mean, at the
you
end of the
you
day,
do.
if you put boof in, you're gonna get boof out.
Exactly. That's
You
why
know?
I pick there's specific brands that I'll pick up from, because I know majority of the time they're picking up from the same cultivator, or they're in-house cultivating for their product, you know what I mean? Or when I'm picking up, my flower, I pick up from certain, cultivators, because I know they've got the shit.
Yeah, man. Like,
One that I missed, I'm kind of mad about was Ooh La La. Run the Jewels did a collab. I'm pretty sure with Wonder
yeah,
Bread,
you,
and I did
Dude,
not get
Wonder Bread,
any. I did not want to
dude,
go and
I
go.
love
I
picking
despise
up.
going to shops, and I'm
I
really
picked up
mad at myself for not picking them
a Be Real collab they did. The OZ Kush.
up. Was it
Uh
worth the hype though? Too.
dude,
That's what I was
the
gonna be my
flavor
next
was
question to
there.
you
It
about.
was the buds were nice. I actually love Wonder Bread stuff. They do some pretty solid like their nugs are always really nice. Even like if you pick up like their smalls, like the quality's still there, dude,
Everything they do, I like. I know a handful of people in that organization, and they're stand-up people from the bottom to the top. Like from what I've
They're a
seen.
little bit more on the higher end as far as price goes, but their quality's there. You know what I
Worth
mean?
it. 100%.
allegedly they're gonna be
They're
making an
concentrates,
appearance
bro.
here soon, which I'm excited for.
Have you ever had?
I
You
wouldn't be
must have tried some
surprised.
of their concentrates, then, right, Dan?
Yeah, I've
Dude,
had their flour and
their
their
stuff
concentrates.
is so tasty, bro. If you want some really of course, like I said, it's on the pricier end when you're, looking at, the price range, but flavor is there, dude. The fucking experience is there. I was into it.
That's so key, like,
They
it's
had like this
so key.
orange strain. I forgot what it was, dude, but the concentrate was fucking.
If I go to a store, like I know you like them a lot, 710, you can't go wrong. Um, Pretty sure refinery extracts are in shops as well as treetop.
Treetop I see around.
They're fucking good. There's like a handful of dudes that are getting in. West Coast
Treetop has some
Alchemy.
good hash, bro. I get their hash sometimes.
Yeah, there's a handful of dudes that are getting into the shops, but I've also seen those are like 90 to 110 for 1 gram. It's like, dude, what the fuck? It's like, I mean, I don't know what the price of hard drugs are, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's 110 a gram, like
Well,
holy fuck.
but I'm thinking of it like this too. In at least here, a lot of times when I see something like that, it's a cultivator that is very craft, right? And they've got, like,
Small batch,
a
high.
2,500 square foot facility.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean? Things like that. And in that vein, here on the show, and even in my work life, I'll often relate it to the beer market, where it's like, you can buy a $10 12-pack of Budweiser, or you can spend $20 on a 4-pack craft beer.
A lot of those guys are sold out before it's even harvested.
And
I already know the Massachusetts the mass
bro,
market. Like a lot of
well,
those
Mass is changing a lot, but River Run, actually, these guys, they were one of the ones that they were like that, where, like, even in my shop, we had to get on a waiting list and basically buy in on a grow that hadn't even grown yet, because, like, we needed to be able to fucking get it the next time we were available to get it. So like there were a few, but statistically speaking, now we've got a 50% drop in value that's happened here. So we're getting oversupplied, which is good and bad,
Oh, same
obviously.
same here. I'd say yeah, maybe more than 50, dude. Like stuff that was 2200 is now under 11. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah,
over 50% drop.
yeah, like the cost of distillate has fucking nosedived, which I'm honestly thankful for, because now a lot of people are finally diving into live resin that never did. And
Yeah,
I've talked to a lot of people in
there's
the
gonna be better
industry.
concentrates
Yeah,
popping up
like
for
I think you might agree. I think we're going to see overall a huge shift of distillate will become an edible ingredient only. I don't think you're
probably.
going to
Yeah.
see people make vape carts out of distillate anymore because the value won't be there. So they'll just make live
Yeah.
resin carts now.
Once the price of the live resin comes down, like I don't think it's that expensive anymore. I know they used to be considerably higher when I was buying them, but yeah, like rosin pods are gonna be a thing soon. You
Yo,
know?
they already
Yeah,
are,
I'm
bro.
already
No, I
Pax
know,
did
but
seeing.
it.
like
I just got
I know they are, but like to the masses.
Well,
Like right
like
now, I
these
can
right
get
here.
one.
These are solventless. That Stizzy's putting out now. You know
Oh,
what I
is that
mean?
the little launch pods? The little short
Yeah.
point five?
Where's my little? Yeah,
If they only come in point fives, the thing with the yeah,
these guys.
how much are those? Like 70?
No, these are actually cheap, bro. They're only like I think these were like 20 something a pod, maybe a little bit more.
The ones I've seen, the lowest was 70. The most expensive was 90 for a point five. They're called launch pods. It's a
yeah,
different
dude.
battery. It's like shaped like a teardrop, but I'm sure you're getting what you pay for. I mean, it
So
is what it
Pax
is.
Like they're not
Pax
bad, you know
literally
what I
just
mean? Like they're
launched rosin and
this
only rosin.
the only reason why
Yeah.
I ever buy a cartridge is just for the convenience and for traveling. I'm not going to get this as my main source of, indulgence or medication. You know what I mean?
These
Like,
guys are good, 22K. If you ever seen them,
um,
they're decent. I know
I've
the
had a
growers that
few
grow
that
their
weren't too
flower.
shabby that I wasn't upset with. Like the select one I have is actually pretty decent.
Actually, I got a. Have you seen the Boro mods? The guy that puts the distillate in the
Yeah,
Boros?
yeah. I think you showed
Boros
me it.
berry.
I've actually hit yours, as a matter of fact,
Oh
at
yeah,
the
at the
Boro
Boro.
Bowl.
Fucking. Oh damn, this kind of got leaky. But it's a DNA 75C, and he puts a EUC coil, 1.8, I believe, and then distillate. And like, I guess if you don't let it sit there for 8 months, they typically don't leak. But that shit it ripped. It was fucking really good hit. But yeah, I was buying distillate or like not distillate, like essentially live resin and making my own turt blends to put in my Boro to using that thing. Like that's what you were hitting down and done when we met up.
Yeah, it ripped, dude.
That's wild.
Yeah, you remember EUC coils from back in the day?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
See,
Because they're
like
like 1.8. They're like right at the
I
perfect threshold. They're point
that
0.8,
now
point 0.9.
that's something that at least is finally fucking innovative in
Cheers, guys.
disty vape
Cheers, dog.
culture there, because like I one of the things I'm always trying to explain to people in my market is that it's like we we're looking at abandoned technology from a different industry, guys, and it's just being like retrofitted for weed. So it was already inherently flawed, and adding a thicker substance in just made those flaws worse. So
Right.
like right now, like this one big company that I think has it slightly figured out, and that's Pax. I think that their Pax pods have the best grip on it so far, but it's still flawed too. It's still going prone to the issues that a lot of those products have. So I really am hoping to start seeing some really interesting innovation in that field for those consumers. Like it's funny to me that I'm not a vape cart or vape pod consumer per se, but like I'm the one advocating for it so hard right now. But like these people are suffering and they don't understand how much better it could be if we could just figure out how to upgrade this technology and make it more efficient and more reliable for people.
Straight up.
Like,
Because sometimes edibles aren't the best way for some people. Even a little tiny bit, like it hits people's bloodstream differently, and it's way psychedelic for some people. Yeah.
100%. We say here all the time, it's really not a good first experience for people. It can be for a lot of people, but it comes with a whole lot of risks. And we just talked recently about the woman who mixed her weed with her alcohol and found out the hard way how bad that can get for somebody. So that's that's a real and present thing that people have to be mindful of.
100%.
Damn, it's like coming in the back cave. It's fucking smoking up in here.
Oh shit, Dan's gonna get rowdy. He got the Red Bull. He's about to get some wings.
This kid's gonna come in here like a freaking wrecking ball. I already know he's gonna have a ton of energy, so I better get on his level.
Yeah, you gotta get prepped.
Good thinking. Good thinking. Oh man, that's
I gotta say, you and Chris Leckness from BuiltBox.info are really making me want to get a tank for to show my little man. Like probably in like a year or two, I'm definitely gonna be hitting you guys up for like the new tech because just the stuff I'm like seeing, I'm like, damn, the technology has changed. Like I remember when LEDs first came out and they were like $1,000 for like small little 20-30 gallon tank. Like now they're on Amazon for you can get whatever the hell you want on Amazon.
dude,
It's so
yeah.
dope. So.
You can actually get like a bunch of cool shit for cheap. You guys especially. I'm a little bit more hard up here, but for you guys, like you guys have a little bit more available to you.
I mean, hey man, I could point you in the direction of some Canadian content creators who like to link, convenient Canadian links for you for like
I
inexpensive
know that there's a
stuff.
guy that lives in like North Toronto, and he has like it was crazy. I watched like an episode. It was either on his YouTube or it was like a show about him, something like that. And it was like he had like 40,000 gallons or something in an apartment. And like he had fish tanks in every single room. And he was like dating a woman. And she's like, look, like you got to like get rid of some of your fish tanks so like we can like live our life. I'm not saying you got to get rid of all of them. And he was like, I'm not getting rid of any, like kicked her to the curb, basically. Like just fucking wild that shit. He was Canadian because I saw in the video a few different shops that he went to that like I had been to myself in Toronto.
That's wild, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like I follow this dude, King of DIY.
That
He's
guy,
in Nova
yeah.
Scotia, and that dude, he's got a 700-gallon piranha tank in his what he calls the aquarium gallery. He's got another like 1,000-gallon one with some Oscars and an arowana. Oh, excuse me. And then he's got like several other tanks out there, plus like a few in his house. But that dude's amazing. Some of the work that I've watched that guy do. But like the big thing that I've learned, and it's the piece of advice that like I'm really starting to give anybody who asks me about it now, is that like if you really want to minimize the work you do so that you can enjoy it more, getting your tank heavily planted with living plants and like good substrate for it and stuff is super, super helpful. Because like there are techniques that you can do.
My forte was plants. Like
yeah,
I was in a couple like before the internet. I was in Aquarium Magazine. Like there's a shop, Aquarium City, out here in the valley that we used to ship plants and fish all around the world. But yeah, I got a couple of write-ups in Aquarium Magazine for plant. It was 180. I think it was 180 or maybe it was a 280, but it was a gigantic planted tank, and it was like literally a blessing to go do that for a living, and it had the HPSs on the retractable. Remember those old school dome lights?
Yeah,
like it was pre-LEDs, but they would be 1,000 degrees. You have to push them up to the ceiling, get in there, do your cleaning, pull them down to like that much off the water. We had fucking AC blowing. It was insane, but that tank was massive. That discus, like dinner plates, breeding discus in that tank.
Yeah, bro,
yeah, that's crazy.
Like that's like that stuff. Like I eventually aspire to. I I recently have been offered an opportunity to inherit 100-gallon stand, full wood stand, the whole
Yeah.
nine.
Oh,
We got a spot picked out for it. I already have another 100-gallon. I gotta just pressure check and everything. It's out in my garage, but that's a story for another time. But this one's gonna, stand and everything together, and so like I'm already starting to think through what I'm gonna do with that one, and I think I'm gonna do blue Acaras.
Oh, dope. I was trying to look through my pictures. I had so many Rams, like the powder blues. I used to breed those and sell them back to the store. So I was our supplier. I think was giving them to them for like $22, let's say. So I'd be like, all right, 15 a pop. My boss would be like, damn, your color, because yeah, I had the breeding pair that I bought and I sorted. So I was like, I want to get back to that level, but you already know, like the kids and stuff. It's yeah, that takes so much dedication. But the main thing was like my 100-gallon was so planted out. Like I think I never did a water change in 12 years. I only added water. Did filter swaps. I remember I had three the old fluval cans. I don't even know if they look like that
With the
anymore, but they were like
FX2 or FX whatever they were back then.
I don't know, just a black cylinder. I had three of them. So I would do it on a daisy chain. Like every 2 weeks, I'd clean two and leave one dirty. It was just like an ecosystem at that point. I need to find pictures, like no digital. It's everything's on like polar or on film,
Yeah,
but
man.
I gotta dig them up and show you because I know I have a picture of my face up against the tank, like looking at my discus. I'll have
That's
to
where
dig through it
like
and
that's
find
where
them.
we're heading with this one, man. Like everything's continuing to grow out now. I'm almost completed with the stocking level. It just got 14 rummies now, so they're
Color of the
looking
light looks so beautiful.
right,
So
man.
clean.
Like
It's
Yeah,
crisp.
the greenery really pops with the lighting, how you've got it set up. Like
do you think about what it's
it
gonna look
lights
like
up
in
the
like three,
background,
4 months, right? Like
that's
all the plants will
Yeah,
start
because
you
to
run
eventually
grow.
those are
so
going to reach up to the top, right?
yeah,
Because
so
even from when you started, I feel like there's a definite change.
Yeah, they're going to reach up to the top and kind of fill it
oh
out
hell yeah. Well,
more
I
towards the
have
back.
back.
I have, some deficiencies going on with the swords. So I'm working out the Amazon sword deficiency because they're heavy root feeders, and so like I clearly don't have enough in the substrate around them, so I got to really
Substrate,
start
yeah.
jamming them. Um, but yeah, dude, like there's the beautiful thing about the stem plants is that you can trim them and replant them, and they just continue to grow. So they're super fast and to propagate. But I tell you what, the addition of the extra wood that I used and everything has just really brought this thing to a whole new level. And like, dude, like look at that. Like you could just see nonstop movement now. Like
Looks beautiful.
it's now mesmerizing. Like it's almost exactly where I want it. Which is perfect because I have another project tank started over here that it's already almost completely hardscaped.
Man, now I want to get a fish tank, bro.
No, no,
You know,
no,
it's
no.
a
Chill,
you
chill,
know, it's a
chill, chill,
trip,
chill,
dude.
chill.
An Anubius Watire, I believe. It was one of the harder to get Anubiuses that has like a red and pink flower,
Ooh.
and that shit grew across the entire back of the tank and then out the outside of the tank. And when I ripped it down, I gave it to my homeboy that had a sick ass pond because those can go in ponds too. I'm pretty damn sure that fool still has that pond running. So if I start up a tank, imagine having trimmings from my
Yeah,
own
dude, from
dude.
your
How sick would
original
be like a
plant.
fucking? I'd be so rad.
Well,
I'm gonna
and
have to
so
talk to that fool.
something that's also hard to see from this camera angle, but you can kind of catch it in the corners, is I
I was gonna
also
say the
have
color looks
pothos.
familiar.
I have pothos, or devil's ivy, as some people would know it. Yeah, here we go. Up here in the corners, growing as well. And so, their terrestrial plant that is just sucking tons and tons of nitrates and everything out of that. And the beautiful thing is that nitrate deficiency makes my red plants even redder. So, like, as they continue to remove nitrates, we're boosting that. And like, yeah, like it's really cool. I wish I had the botany background to fully understand it all. But it's been really
I
fun
used to
learning it.
I used to bake devil's or excuse me what do you call it, jail moonshine in a 2 liter bottle to pump CO2 into the system because I was too poor to buy a CO2 can. and actually buy the whole system. So I made liquor, pumped it through, had a check valve, so like no liquid could ever go into the tank. But I had a regulator and I had it all set up pro, on the business end of it. But I was essentially brewing my own alcohol to make CO2. But
Oh yeah.
that'll make your plants pop off. I'm sure
People
it could only
people
be
do that all the time, man. I've seen several instructions of how to do it, and I've considered doing it, but then I'm like, man, I don't like to half-ass things. So it's like if
yeah.
I'm gonna do
I mean,
CO2, I might as well
at
just
this point,
invest in the
You
whole
want to do like
system,
legit
yeah,
CO2?
you could
you know?
probably get it for probably 100 or $200 or whatever.
But I mean, like the
I mean,
cool
just buying a tank and everything.
the
It's
you
all
can
the
get
hard part's the regulator,
yeah, well,
really.
you can get full-on setups now for like 200-300 bucks. And then
There
yeah,
you
all you
go.
gotta do is just get get your tank filled.
Dude,
Not a
you'll
big
see
deal.
such an increase, bro. Like you
Oh, I
should just start
know.
doing time lapses. The day you do that, you'll be like, whoa.
It's I know, man, but it's kind of fun staying low tech also, right? Like
Sure.
the substrate in this, like when you're seeing this tank on camera, the that substrate is probably an inch and a half above the lip, and there's another like what, half an inch below the lip, right? So there's a solid
Yeah.
2-inch substrate at the front, and it's banked all the way to the back, and it's a mix of pool filter sand, gravel, um, uh, fluval stratum, so plant substrate, all underneath it, and then it's all completely capped with decorative sand. So that
Nice.
way, like we keep those nutrients locked underneath. Um, so like this, in theory, could probably run as a no filter tank. I
Probably.
could, like with the amount of plants that are now in it growing, I could probably just shut my filtration off and maybe put an air stone in there for a little bit of water movement, um, and be all set. It could probably be a no filter tank from there out. But I like giving them the flow, as you can kind of see in the video here. Like the fish love it. It keeps them moving in that flow. They love to go against the current, and it makes it so much
Are
more
you like,
enjoyable.
are you putting in supplements and stuff? Because like obviously your bio load's like really low. Like all your fish in there like will create like a really low bio load. So
I have
like, are you
30.
doing supplements?
I have 37 fish in there right now.
Yeah, but they're all so small.
So but that's the thing, is that it's a 50-gallon tank with 37 fish right now. So like the bio load is still, it's, I wouldn't say it's low. I'd say it's maybe moderate at
It's
this point.
present. I'd say
Like
it's
it's there
present.
now, especially with the two plecos and everything that are in there. Like they're bristlenose. They are not going to get monster, but the two
Because I used
plecos
to
in
have like a
there.
65-gallon tank. There was like the 4 foot 65. So it was like 48 by 18 by 18. And I used to have like a school trophies that were, it would probably be like anywhere from 28 to 35 over the time they were in that tank. Because like sometimes like fry would be born, I wouldn't catch them all, whatever, or just like I would keep like a really nice female and like introduce it back in after like I grew them out. Because I used to like, I guess I would raise them to some level and then I would sell them to the shop, but I basically trade them to the shop for like supplies for myself. So I would like go in and be like, okay, I got like 25 of these fry. Like they're a jet, like a F1 or a generation one, because they would be from like wild caught parents. And I'd sell them for like $15 a pop. But I would get store credit or I could get like maybe $12 if I wanted cash. So what I would always do is I'd end up just getting like 4 or 5 of them in cash and the rest would be in store credit. And then I would just buy all the food. I saved up and bought like multiple filters because like I was basically like not paying to advance the hobby further. I would be like, oh, like I've built up enough store credit that I can now buy like this like Fluval 304. I didn't really buy that, but like that was just the first thing that came to my head. I used to
Right,
buy
right.
Eheim everything. But yeah, so like I would buy like a new canister filter and then like I'd make a trade. Somebody would be like, yo, like look in for whatever. And I'd be like, oh, they have like a 75-gallon tank. I'm gonna hit them up. It looks like they have cichlids, and I'll be like, hey, yo, like I'll trade you like 15 fry for like that tank and light, and they'd be like, okay. And dude, you just build it all up out of like that initial like big investment. Because dude, for me, I bought 20 wild caught fish that cost me 30 35 to $40 a piece. So I spent like almost 1,000, like $800 to $1,000 on these wild caught fish. And honestly, I could have killed them, right? And if I'd have killed them, it's all gone. And when I say kill them, I mean like by accident. Like clearly, I would never want to kill them. Like if they happen to die on my watch, that would cost me, $800 to $1,000. But if I got them to breed and be successful, like they could pay for themselves back quite quickly, because you could sell like on the open market sometimes, like depending on what, like which one you have. I was gonna say strain, but I'm lost for words. Whatever it happens to be. There's certain ones that you could sell for like 25, $30 at like
the
1
family
inch long.
history or color lineage of whatever.
Yeah,
that
it'd be
fish
like
might
their location basically or whatever. So it was one of those things that I picked a good one. There was like a desirable one that people wanted. And yeah, dude, I could offload those easy. There's other stuff that I could bred too, but they just didn't get me much. They're like things that I started out on to like build up enough money to buy the fancy wild caught fish. Like, dude, these things are flown in from Africa, and I would get them. Like, they're legit from the lakes of Africa. Like, I feel kind of bad saying that out loud, but like, it was better for me to have them than somebody that didn't care for them. How about that?
Straight up.
Well, I mean,
Do you remember
how it starts, though? Like, that's how you get fresh genes into the gene pool. You have to get some from the wild.
Do you guys see Australian rainbows?
Yeah, those are really cool fish too, man.
I had a male, blue and yellow. Like his front half was yellow, back half was blue, and then a female that was purple and gold, like a Lakers. I got those motherfuckers to breed, and those are just like the rams. They're high ticket fish. Like a 1 inch or half inch is like $50. Same thing with those guys. They're not as much as a ram, but dude, I'm having flashbacks to my. It was a good conversation, bro.
The value.
Oh, dude, I probably made like thousands of dollars worth of shit from breeding those fish. Like,
thankfully, the value has changed on those fish a little bit for you. So if you decided you wanted to get back in, Dan, like rams are not nearly as expensive. Neither are rainbows now. They are a lot more obtainable. They're a lot more available in the trade, thankfully. So it is a little bit easier to get. But like if you had success doing that, dude, like you could still make bank because a reasonable sized ram could still run $15 for a single one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
but just having a tank up to that quality.
Well, that's the thing, right? Yeah. Like that I attempted rams once and I didn't fully know enough about rams to be successful. Now I realize that like my tanks are never going to support rams. I can't run those temperatures with the other fish that I have. I need cooler water species. This is New England, man. Like,
yeah,
I gotta have tropical fish that are more comfortable in the 70, 72 range. That way, like we're gravy, like my tetras, they're killing it out here. They love this. I thought a lot about getting into shell dwellers because, dude, shell dwellers are so goddamn cool to watch. But the work I would have to do to make them comfortable would be crazy because of the conditions here.
Right. So or spend a lot of money.
like for real, like I have such like mineralless water that like I would have to have a completely crushed coral base underneath sand for them. Like it would be tons of work to continually maintain optimal water parameters to keep them comfortable. Just because like out here, my water parameters are not near close enough to what they like. So it was like, you got to make those decisions. Those are things that they're tough decisions to make, man. Like I want some pretty fish, but they're not going to do well here. It just is what it is. Rainbows though, that was the toss up for the big one when we set up the big one. was, do I want to do blue Akara or do I want to do fucking rainbows?
Dude, I can't. I need to get out the book because I don't know everything off the head like that. But I would put some Africans. So like I would strive for breeding pairs, but I'm not trying to like. I wasn't trying to sell them necessarily. I was kind of trying to have an ecosystem. So my angels were like up there, fucking some of my most aggressive, but they were also pretty big. But yeah, like I just remember those rainbows that like when they would fight, like I remember them breathing and like through their aggression, like seeing their colors change. It was such a trip, like a chameleon and a fish. It's really
Yeah,
a trip
dude.
to see. Some you really can't describe until you see one
And
do
there's
it.
so
Yeah.
many out there too, like the Bosemani's, which do like this really unique like
Oh, those
sunburst
blue.
tail.
Is that like?
They're
Oh,
like
that yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
blue body with like that crazy
I
orange
think
sunburst
I
on
think
on the
that may have
tails.
been my male. My male may have been a Bosmani. Man, you're tripping me out. You're giving me flashbacks,
Yeah,
bro.
dude, like Bosemani's do that, but then there's like these other ones that are like electric blue almost through their whole body. So like
Right.
there's so many cool variants of rainbows, and it would be really cool to just get a big ass school of them just doing their thing. Um, I think
Remember like the red ones, like when they were regularly chilling, they'd be like ruby red, and then when they get pissed, they turn like fire engine, or like your headphones, like boom, they'd be like
yeah,
what, like punking the other fish, and then when they're chilling, they're like a nice like cranberry or something, like
they're
that's such a cool.
they're a cool fish. Rainbows are a cool fish too if you like to have your lights on in the morning because apparently they're most active for breeding behavior in the morning. And so that's obviously when their fish are the most colorful, right? When they're trying to show off and try to get their fuck on. And so like if you're a morning person and you want to watch your tank with the lights on in the morning, perfect fish for that. Which is an interesting thing too, because there are people who do dual cycles in a day for lighting,
Yeah,
where they'll run like 2 3 hours in the morning while they're up getting their shit together, and then they'll have them shut off, and then they'll come back on for like 4 or 5 hours at night when they come home from work, which is an interesting idea.
I know, I've
There's
heard of it. I've never done it, but I know
there's
people do it.
some well there is some I don't know if I want to call it evidence, but some studies have been done to see if it may be possible that under a proper dual lighting schedule, you can trick your plants and double their growth
Ooh.
Makes sense.
because your plants will think that they're basically going through faster day cycles. And so as a result, you'll get quicker growth out of your plants from these dual light cycles. Um, and that's a cool piece of science that like super intrigues the shit out of me.
I bet you there's like a spectrum on these super high end LEDs. Like we have controllers where it goes to this really dark green that the plants still sleep in, but we can get in there and spray or deleaf, do whatever we got to do. I bet you there's controllers that are like give the plants enough to create photosynthesis, but let the fish sleep and not really fuck with them. Like if
Oh
the
yeah.
tech ain't there,
It's
it's just around the corner.
so you know Fluval already has it, right? Like it's of course it's Fluval. But
Yeah, the
Fluval's
big
Aqua
players.
Sky series of LED
That's a
lights
cool name.
has the full spectrum control. So it's like
That's dope.
you want to bump all your red up to 100 and
It's not all plants want the same shit. If you're
right, and
just
then
going for you
drop
just want
something
grass
else,
or whatever.
yeah, you want to really cut out your green or lift your green but cut your orange. Like it lets you do that full spectrum control, which is really fucking cool. These ones behind me actually have replicated day cycle.
That's sick.
So when they turn on, they slow ramp, and for the first like half an hour they're at like 20 30%, or like they'll go from a 10 to like I think it's 40%, and then they'll gently jump up to 50, and then like now you're seeing them at like 100%, and then come tonight they'll do the same thing around 9:30. They'll just start to whoosh, drop right out.
That's what I really was hesitant to go full LEDs a few years ago at the shop, but after seeing these controllers and the way you could program them to a T, to week one, week two, week three, go up and down, and to even if I have half a table of LCG and half, OG, I can give them completely. It's nice to be able to fine tune it like that. So
It is, dude.
I can't wait to fuck with LEDs and water, or fish and water.
Yeah, man. Like that's a big part of what has always got me into the fish tanks was the plants, right? Like I really enjoy the planting the tank and the growing and maintaining the plants, and the fish are just a part of that ecosystem. Um, and so it's super cool to like see that and look at it and be like, okay, well, this is a sign of low iron, so we need to we need to dose it. Excuse me, things like that. Um, but that's all been a huge learning curve that I've had to undertake to like really begin to understand like, oh hey, like this algae results in this condition and these things that could result
Right.
in that condition. And if I just focus on growing my plants and get these, these nutrient levels right, these problems go away. Another one that
Take away
intrigues the shit out of
one
me,
little thing.
dirted tanks, the Wallstad method.
Dirted tanks.
What does
Yes.
that mean?
So the Wallstad method was pioneered by a woman named Diana Wallstad, and her idea is that you start by taking actual topsoil and laying that in the bottom of a tank, and then on top of that you put a layer of gravel, and then on top of that you put a layer of sand, and that this basically would replicate the natural underwater scape of substrates. And so that this is an optimal condition to grow aquatic plants because it's getting a very solid grouping of nutrients with proper aeration through that gravel, keeping flow underneath the sand. Very interesting. Been learning a lot about that too, because that's super interesting to like full on ecosystem, right? Down to the dirt.
Yeah, it really is. That was one thing. Like my tanks had a fuckload of substrate and wood. They probably were 60% plant and wood, and very little water. Like my favorite part about doing setups for customers was doing the landscaping or fish scaping or whatever. And like my tank had the whole left side was kind of open, and then I had tiers on the right. I had this one piece of I worked at a fish store, so I got all the shipments of driftwood and lava rock. So I had the pimpest sick as shit, And like this one piece of driftwood that had tiers like built into it, like 3 tiers. So I would just be able to, do the substrate tiers like you're saying, but I had it, you know, 2 feet above where I had my grass, and it was pimping. I gotta find pictures.
I wish
But
I
yeah,
could
like that was my favorite part, was like the landscaping, like the planting and setting it up.
So I wish you could see the puffer tank that I have over here, because that one I did in what's known as an Iwagumi style. And so
Iwagumi.
Iwagumi style is typically very few plants, usually maybe one or two species of plant, and it's just rocks for your hardscape. Um, and so like what you see in this is just 3 rocks laid out that sort of create a nice appealing pattern, and then I have a whole bunch of jungle val that's growing in between
That's
it
it.
all.
I've seen the videos on Instagram, and it definitely looks clean. Like
It's
just
That's it. Like just super
yeah.
minimalist, but it's really nice and peaceful, and it's perfect for
Dude,
the
my
little pea
my
puffers.
favorite, my very very favorite tank of this day was a wall of jungle val in the back. It was like a 300-gallon tank. This dude had a grip of money. He like worked for Dre or something. Jungle val in the back. Just whatever the short grass was, it stays short, like dwarf grass.
Yep, the dwarf
Hand planted,
hairgrass.
the entire floor was planted, and probably $1,000 worth of the high end rummy nose. Just that's it. And I was just
Yes,
like, dude, you're a fucking such a baller.
I
Like
love that. Just
it
this
was just red and
wall of
green.
these little fish with the little red
So sick.
noses back
And
and
like the
forth.
ones you remember, I don't know if it was like that back there, but like if they had a green stripe down their back, it meant wild caught or closer to wild. Or if they had a clear back, they'd be like $2. If they had a green back, they're $5 or
Yeah,
something. But they're
there's a few different species of them, and they all look similar, but there's slight variance
maybe
to
the
them.
white and black was more poppy. I forgot what the thing was, but I remember this dude did not give a fuck, and I was just like, when it was all said and done, like that was one of my favorite things because it was like you said, it's just so clean, not like minimalist, but damn.
It's very similar to what I've done upstairs in my guppy tank because it's literally just this. I did a slope down one side because it's in a corner against a wall, so it just grades all the way down, and there's just like a whole bunch of lava rock at the bottom with a shitload of Bosa Philandra and Anubias growing off it, and then the whole slope is just more of that jungle val. So I've got guppies all on the top, baby guppies that are all in the bottom in the grass. There's a couple of Amano shrimp that hang out in there, and it just does its thing. They just chill.
Now, now when I open up Instagram or YouTube, I'm just gonna have like all these fluval ads and shit.
Yeah, oh, for sure, dude.
Well, but
For
so
sure.
here, let's switch it up on you. I also recently just discovered one of the coolest devices for the kitchen that I'm totally about to invest in because it's just under it's like just under $200. I think it was like 179. It's called the sous vide gun.
Sous vide gun.
Dude, it's a kitchen flamethrower.
Oh, what?
It is a fucking mega torch that is a kitchen flamethrower. You literally put a camping propane bottle underneath this thing, and it literally is a small size flamethrower for you to like fucking sear meat.
Have you seen any of my bubble popping videos on those huge ass canvases I do for the artist in Venice?
No, I don't think I have.
Do you have Google at your access? Search grill blazer. It's the same thing, essentially,
Yeah.
and it's kind of shaped like a.
It's the same company.
Shaped like a gun, kind of.
It's the exact same company who makes the sous vide gun. The sous vide gun is just a different model. I've literally,
dude,
I've got their website open on my phone as we speak.
Every canvas that's hanging in a swanky ass gallery in New York, or there's one in Berlin, has been torched with a fucking grill blazer. That's how I pop my bubbles on the big. It's like I was doing it with a blazer. I'm like just looking around, and sure enough, on Instagram, it's like, how do you start your barbecue? I'm like, what the fuck? I instantly bought it. It was the best $100 or whatever that was. I've gone through only like 6 or 7 tanks of gas, but it's fucking really works good.
It's the sous vide one is a little bit smaller than the regular grill one, but it's the same exact thing, and it does the exact same job.
Dude.
And I literally own a sous vide, so like the whole idea is that now I can fucking like cook steak in the sous vide and then take that motherfucker, blast the steak on all sides to put a nice char and sear on the outside, and then when you cut into a sous vide steak, it's literally wall to wall pink.
Yeah, like it's all the same across the way, right? Like that's
there's no gray. It's perfect all the way through.
Yeah.
Like that.
I actually like a steak that's on the barbecue though. Like it's really hard for me to break that like want. Like I just want like the outside with like that little bit of like
jar flavor, dude.
Well, so that's what you get the sous vide gun for though. Like you literally get the same char on the outside by doing that. Alternately, you could also pre-sear a steak on a grill and then finish it sous vide to get that wall-to-wall internal temperature perfect cook, but still have that like grilled flavor on the outside.
The smoke into it, sous vide in it after that. That's a really damn good idea.
I've seen it done where people will like throw a piece of meat, say, in a smoker for 2 hours just to get the smoke into the meat, and then they'll finish it in a sous vide for like a little while longer, say 6-7 hours at super low temperature. Because like that's the benefit of that. Like you could do a filet mignon in a sous vide in a couple hours, and it'll be perfect, wall to wall pink.
I just got the text. Wife's coming upstairs and she needs my help.
Oh. Well, shit. If that's the case, why don't we go ahead and wrap this show on up? Dan, why don't you tell the listeners where to find you?
Facebook, I have a group called Chasing Resin. Instagram, Foot Clan Dan or Chasing Resin. I don't use the Chasing Resin that much. Anywhere else, just hit me up. I'm open for blocks or canvases or whatever the hell else you want. Hit me up.
Hell yeah, dude. Uncle Chris, tell them how you tell them.
Okay, well, thanks, Dan. It's always good. Just like chatting with you. I haven't really got to chat with you that much, but like I feel like whenever we chat, it's just chill. Like you're a real good dude, and you're actually really talented as well. So I don't wanna like not tell you that before you're off the show for today. Because yeah, dude, some of the stuff you do is like super cool. Like I'm not a huge Instagram user, but like James will show me some stuff, or even just like looking at stuff today, it just reminded me about like how talented you are. So keep on doing that. And obviously, like I appreciate the fact that I could also come to you with like probably cannabis questions. So
100%.
if I like something and I know more people that know more than me, that's good for me because that means that whatever I want to find out, I probably can because I've never felt that I can't ask people questions because how else are you supposed to know? So yeah, if you guys want to check me out, you can check me out on Tuesday nights on KBTV's YouTube channel for Mixing It Up. I was actually doing like a good amount of mixing yesterday. I might even do a little bit more today. I'm not sure yet, but I've been just like enjoying being creative when it comes to creating e-liquids. So you can check me out on Mixing It Up. You can also check out the three of us on the Green Room on Frames Janko Vapor's YouTube channel Friday nights at the same time. And of course, go check us out on shedtimepodcast.com. All the stuff we have there, including, you know, past guests, our Patreon, all sorts of different things. Feel free to go over and check that out. We appreciate all the support we can get. So with that, I'll say everybody have a good week and live your best life.
Oh yeah, dude. And with that, I want to thank Dan once again for joining us, bro. Shout outs to you for hanging out, man. Go check him out, guys. If you guys are into some custom resin work, check out the Chasing Resin Facebook group, all that good stuff on the Instagrams. Dude, keep on killing it. Keep doing your shit, man. You're over there like blowing people's minds with the all the resin art you've been doing. I call him the glow father because, dude, some of the glow art that you are able to pull off with your blocks is insane, dude. So go check him out. And again, thank you for joining us here. Of course, check out the podcast, all your platforms. Leave us 5-star reviews if you guys like what you're hearing. That helps us in the algorithm. Share us with your friends, your family, all that good stuff. Of course, check us out on Fridays if you want to get a little double dose of us. And then with that, I'm going to end it as I always do, sending out all those positive vibes, crisp high fives. And don't forget to tell someone you love them, and a little dab and bag will do you. Sean.
Fuck yes. So one more time, big shout out and thank you to Dan. Go check out all of his socials. Go see his work and blow your goddamn face off. Wow, how cool that shit really is. Otherwise, you guys already heard it. Go follow all the links. Go check out all the places. And with that, I'm going to bring it to a close like I always do. Remember, don't let the bastards get you down. Be cool. Don't be a dick. And whatever it is that you do, be sure to have some fun because it's the Shed Time Podcast and we're about to roll on up and roll on out. Dynavap, Dynavap, Dynavap. Looking to cut the cord on your dry herb vape? Dynavap. Trying to get the best taste from your herb? Dynavap. Ready to take your sesh to the next level? Then meet Dynavap, the best way to vape your flower or concentrate. Concentrates? That's right, your flower or hash can be vaped using Dynavap. Check out Dynavap.com to learn more. That's Dynavap.com. Lose the ash? Dynavap.
What's going on, Shedheads? It's your boy Frames Janklin. Are you looking to step up your match game or have a raw copper, brass, or stainless mod or RDA that you're absolutely tired of polishing? Then you need to go and hit up my man Ashton at Palmer's Powders. He does some absolutely amazing powder coating work. He offers many different colors and finishes at an absolutely killer price. This man is taking powder coating to a whole new level, and he can make your setup an absolute masterpiece. You can go follow him over on Instagram at Palmer's Powders, and you can go check out pricing on his website, palmerspowders.com. That's palmerspowders.com. And as always, let's just vape on, Shedheads.
I want you to think of your favorite rebuildable right now. Yeah, okay, so you have a layer cake in your hand, and now you're about... Oh, sorry, yeah, that's not everyone's favorite. That's just mine. So think of your favorite rebuildable atomizer. Think about how good of a vape it produces for you. Now, take that and amplify it. And the way that you amplify that is you put in some Breezestone coils. Breezestone coils are handcrafted in Adelaide, Australia. They're made from some of the finest quality wire that you can get. I believe it's Wire Buddha. You take those coils, you take them out of that phenomenal packaging that clearly shows how much care that Adam puts on the quality of his coils and the insurance that you get them in good shape. You put them in that favorite RDA, and guess what? You have coils that now sing better than Celine Dion. Go check out Breezestone Coils. You can find them on localvape.com and also steelvalleyvapors.com. Solid.
That was an interesting rhythm I just took.